right. There are a couple of things I want to say. You know, first, as I already said, we're not going to use the old session anymore. Every time I'm going to create a new session for the class, and then you just join the new session. So next time, I'm not going to go back to the old session to double check it to save time, because it usually causes some problem for internet or connection when I switch back and forth between sessions, and that wastes our time a little bit. So I'm not going to do it next time. I'm going to stick to the new session and wait for students. All right. Now, um, we're supposed to have class on next Monday, but next Monday is a Labor Day, so it's a holiday for us. So we don't have class. So instead of meeting on Monday, we're going to meet next Wednesday. All right. So as I already said, we meet for every other scheduled time of class. So we don't have class on Friday, basically, this Friday. And next Monday is a holiday, so we have to meet on next Wednesday. All right, so that's the second thing. And also, please do not leave before I take the road. I guess please do not leave before I take the road. I'm taking the attendance now, so you don't want to leave early, okay? So that's another thing, and then so I sent an email and also post the announcement in Blackboard about the website, and that communicated with Cengage people. Okay, there's no class on Friday. Okay. So I talked with them at the weekend, and it took quite some time, more than 5 hours, to discuss with them about the website, and they agreed to extend the 2 more weeks for us for the grace period. Okay, yeah, that's good, because I'm going to talk about that, about the quiz. So they extended 2 more weeks for us for the website and the grace period, so we should have no problem access website. I have integrated the Blackboard with the website, so you do not need to do anything else. You just access website from Blackboard, as I said in the email or in the announcement. The steps I already wrote them down explicitly. So follow the steps, and you should have no problem accessing website. And do practice. Try it. Make sure it's working properly. If I don't receive any feedback from students, I will assume that everybody has no problem accessing website to do the assignments. Okay, and we are going to use the website for the whole semester as the way to do all the assignments. So all of them, the quizzes and tests, the findings, all of them will be in website. So if you have any problem, okay, please try it. Okay, please right after class, make sure it's working. If you got any problem, please contact the people in Cengage and the website using the number I give you in before, and ask them to resolve your problem. So you need to wait a little while sometimes, because they're very busy at this moment. Please be patient. if they don't pick up you phone immediately, please wait a little while, because they're busy, and don't hang up. Just wait. You can do other things at the same time, and you don't have to sit and just wait. Okay, and then they will pick up eventually, and that's my personal experience. So do not hang up, please. And they will help you to resolve your problem. That's for sure. So fix the website. We the website is just 2 more weeks. So in a short time, we're going to you're gonna buy the buy the access code yourself to do it. So um, I don't want to make more confusion by using Blackboard now, uh, because it's just 2 weeks. So please try it and make sure it's working. Website is working. If not, please call the support in Cengage or website, asking them for help and be patient when you call them. So about the quiz last time, we don't have a new quiz. Okay, by the way, um, I'm considering to reopen the last quiz on this Friday. So that's why you need to make sure the website is working, so that you can take the quiz on time. So again, the quiz will be from 3 to 3:15. So we don't have class on Friday. Instead, you do the quiz at 3 on Friday, and the quiz shows up in website exactly at 3, and it disappears at 3:15. So please make sure you have no problem accessing website to take the quiz, and complete the quiz and submit it before 3:15. If you go to the website before 3, you will not see the quiz also. And if you don't see the quiz after 3, then just refresh or log out from website and then log back in from Blackboard into website. You should be able to see it if you don't see it by 3. But you will not see it after 3:15. Okay, so complete the quiz and submit it before 3:15. Okay, that's a good question. Yes, if you, so I will give you every chance to take it. So when I reopen it, if you took it before, and then you can choose to do it again or not. Okay, so this is reopen to everybody. If you did good in master quiz, of course you don't have to do it again. But if you think you can improve your score a little bit, you can do it again. All right.
When did you say
So
it'll be open
question.
again? I'm sorry.
Let's see. The quiz should be accessible in website on Friday at 3, right at 3, and ends at 3:15. So after 3:15 on Friday, you will not be able to see it. Okay, that's a good question. Website Cengage or they are different companies. They just merged. So you do not worry about Cengage at this moment. Just follow my instructions, guidelines in that email I sent midnight on Sunday in the announcement. The 5 steps, I think. Just follow that. Don't worry about any other things. Okay, that should work. If in case you got some problem, please call the support in Cengage and ask them to fix it, to help you to fix it. All right. They are not the same thing. Okay. Cengage and WebAssign are not the sense, not the same thing. Let me just answer the questions one by one. Okay, looks like people got a lot of questions. You do not need X code now. You do not do WebAssign. If you follow my steps in the email and in the announcement, you do not need. Forget about everything else. Just follow that guideline. All right. That's the whole thing you need to do. If you got any problem, please call the support in Cengage and ask them to help you to fix it. The quiz is in WebAssign, will not be in Cengage. It's in WebAssign. Okay. Cengage is a company bigger than WebAssign. WebAssign is just part of it. The quiz assignments will be in WebAssign. Not the new quiz, the same quiz. I mean the last quiz. I'm not giving a new quiz. Just reopen the first quiz. Well, if you took the quiz, it's not a test, by the way. It was a quiz. Okay. You know, if you took it and submitted it, then your score will be saved in the system. If you're not sure, Elijah, whether you score, whether you submitted or not, or you can send me email. I can check it for you. Okay, if you want to see whether your quiz was scored and submitted. Okay. Okay, Sydney Holmes. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the Cengage this thing. Okay, WebAssign has account itself. Cengage is another account. So if you follow the steps I wrote in the email and the announcement, then it has nothing to do with Cengage. It's just WebAssign. So just follow those steps and it should be okay. I don't see any assignment on WebAssign. No, there's no assignment at this point because I've not given another quiz. You're going to see the quiz reopening on Friday at 3, from 3 to 3:15. You're not going to see it again after 3:15. I do not. Okay, Sydney, please call Cengage support. I do not think I talked to them. That's what they say. You know, you do not need a Cengage account or anything to do WebAssign. If you still got the problems, please call the support and ask for help to fix it for you. So any other questions before we start the lesson today? And make sure everybody please try WebAssign and practice and make sure you can access WebAssign before you take the quiz on Friday at 3 from 3 to 3:15. Otherwise, you'll not have enough time to do the quiz. You know, some people last time I found you know they just asked me questions. You know, they got problems accessing WebAssign and they asked me questions at the quiz time. That will not work because you only have 15 minutes and they will not be able to fix it for you in that short period of time. Okay, so any other questions? Okay, so I guess these are the things I want to say. So let's just start the 1.3. We finished the 1.2 last time. All right. So 1.3 is quadratic equations. Can anybody can hear me, right? It's good. Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
So everybody has no problem hearing me, right? Okay, great. Just make sure you know it's working good. Okay. So so let's talk about the quadratic equations in 1.3. We have different methods to solve a quadratic equation. And the first method will be by factoring. So that's always the first thing you do when you solve a quadratic equation. But in order to solve a quadratic equation, you need to write the quadratic equation in standard form in most times. The standard form means you put all the terms on one side and nothing on the other side, or zero on the other side. Okay, so let's do some examples. Let's try to solve the equation x squared plus 12x minus 15 equal to 0 by factoring. So it's already in standard form. All the terms are on the left. Okay, so we can easily factor x squared plus 2x minus 15 by x plus 5 and x minus 3. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15, and 5 minus 3 is 2, if you know factor it. So then you just put each factor equal to 0 and solve it. So x plus 5 equal to 0, you get the x equals to negative 5, and the x minus 3 equals to 0, you get the x equals to 3. So we got two solutions in this problem. So very simple. Okay, let's do another problem. Solving quadratic equations by factoring. Okay, this time we need to solve the equation of 2x squared plus 5x equal to 3.
Can you go back really
so this
fast?
is not in standard form because we got 3 on the other side. So what we need to do is move 3 to the left, and so we got 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equal to 0, and then we can factor it. So that's the standard form. Now, there is a method to factor this kind of trinomials, and it involves 3 steps. Can you go back really fast? Okay, yes. Are you talking about the first problem? Well, the good news is when I finish the when I finish the section, I'm going to post all the slides in the content folder in Blackboard, as you already know, and also you will be able to watch the video I recorded. I record the video every time, so you should be able to watch it and download it in Blackboard. Okay, so using the link I posted before and send the email how and the word to watch those videos. All right, and also WebAssign has its own videos for each section. That's why I'm using WebAssign. I think that's a very good software. It includes the lectures for every section also. All right. So let's just go back to this problem of 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equal to 0. We already rewrote it in standard form. So there is a general method to factor the left-hand side of this trinomial involving 3 steps. It's called the factor by grouping. If you still remember that. Okay, but because this time we got 2x squared as the leading term. It's not x squared, so that makes it a little harder. But you can use the following method. So step 1, multiply the first number, 2. We call the leading coefficient, and the constant term, negative 3. So 2 times negative 3 equal to negative 6. And step 2, find two numbers so that when you multiply them, you're going to get negative 6. When you add them, you get 5. Okay, so these two numbers are -1 and 6. If you multiply -1 by 6, you get -6, which is the number we got from the first step. Okay, and then -1 plus 6 is 5, which is the number in the equation in the second term, in the term of 5x. Okay, and then you use those -1 and 6 from step 2 to split the term in the equation of 5x into 2. All right, so you can split 5x as -x plus 6x. So this -1 and 6 are from this second step. And then you group 2x squared minus x and group 6x minus 3. And then you just factor each group. So from the first group, we can factor x to get 2x minus 1 times x. And from the second group, we can factor 3 to get 3 times 2x minus 1. Now, you can see there's a common factor of 2x minus 1 from the two groups that you can factor. So if you factor 2x minus 1 from the two groups on the left, you are left with x plus 3. So in this way, we factor out the left-hand side, and then you just set each factor equal to 0 to solve the equation. So 2x minus 1 equal to 0, you easily put 1 to the right and divide by 2 to get a half for x, and from x plus 3 equal to 0, you get the x equal to -3, and move 3 to the right. Okay. So let's just talking about another method. So that's the factor method. You can also solve quadratic equations by taking square roots. Sometimes it's straightforward. For example, when you try to solve the equation of x squared equal to 225, we just take root on both sides. But remember, when you take the square root, you always get both positive and negative. So the square root of 225 is just 15, so we got x equal to positive or negative 15, so we got two solutions, 15 and the -15. So that's pretty straight. Okay, let's do another one. Solve the equation 3x squared plus 12 equal to 0. So for this method for taking the square roots, you do want to put the numbers on the right. Okay, that's the only case you do not write the quadratic equation by standard form. Okay, so move 12 to the right to get -12, so 3x squared equal to -12, and then simplify the equation by dividing by 3 on both sides. We got x squared equal to -4. And then you take the root. Again, you got the plus or minus square root of -4. So when you take the square root of a negative number, you get the imaginary number, which is 2i in this case. Okay. So we got two solutions, 2i and the -2i. Well, let's do another example by using or taking the square roots. So when you solve the equation x minus 3 squared equal to 8. So we already got the perfect square on the left. So we don't have to change anything for the equation itself. We just take the square root on both sides. And we got the x minus 3 if you take the square root of x minus 3 squared on the left. And on the right, again, you got plus minus. So that's plus or minus square root of 8. All right? And so then you just move 3 to the right and get the solutions for x equal to 3 plus 8 square root of 8, or 3 minus square root of 8. And you can also simplify square root of 8 by dividing it as 2 square root of 2. If you factor 8 by 402 and then take the square root of 4, get 2. So you get 2 out of the radical. So it becomes 2 square root of 2. Okay. Well, so these are two methods. There's another method. It's called quadratic equations by completing the square. I'm sure you learned about this before. For this method, you also put the numbers, the constant on the right side. So you got several steps to do it. Okay, so first we just move 8 to the right. We got x squared plus 2 equal to 8. And then we got 3 steps, you know, to complete the square on the left. So step 1, you need to divide the coefficient for the linear term by 2. So we got x squared plus 2x on the left. So the linear term is 2x. So divide this 2 by 2. Okay, the coefficient of the linear term 2x is 2. So divide this 2 by 2, you get 1. Step 2, you take the square of the number found in step 1. So in step 1 we get 1. So you take the square of 1, you get 1. Step 3, you add the number you got in step 2 on both sides and factor the left side. So x squared plus 2x plus 1 equal to 8 plus 1. If you add 1 on both sides of the equation, and then you can easily factor left hand side of x squared plus 2x plus 1 to x plus 1 squared. All right. So that's why it's called completed square. Okay, you make a complete square on the left by adding a proper number, and then you can use the method of taking the square root on both sides to solve the equation. So x plus 1 squared equal to 9. You take the square root, you get the x plus 1 on the left, and the plus and minus 3 on the right. Okay. So that ends up two solutions. Move 1 from the left to the right, you get the x equal to -1 plus minus 3. So that means x equal to -1 plus 3, which is 2, or x equal to -1 minus 3, which is -4. So we got two solutions. So that's completing the square. Let's do another problem of completing the square. So we need to solve the equation 2x plus 8x minus 1 equal to 0. Again, move the constant term to the right. So we got 2x squared plus 8x equal to 1. But also, in this problem, we need to divide the whole equation by 2 on both sides, because the coefficient for x squared is not 1, it's 2. So we need to make it 1. And the way to do it is to divide the 2 on both sides of the equation. So if you divide 2 on both sides of the equation, you get x squared plus 4x equal to half. Divide each term by 2. And then you do the same steps we did in the previous example to complete the square. Okay, so first step, so the equation we get now is x squared plus 4x equal to half. So the linear term is 4x, and the coefficient for the linear term is 4. Divide this number 4 by 2, you get 2. So that's step 1. Step 2, square the number in step 1 you get. So we got 2 step 1. So we need to square that number. 2 squared is 4. Okay. Step 3, add the number from step 2. So we got 4 in step 2. So add 4 on both sides of this equation of x squared plus 4x equal to half. So we got the x squared plus 4x plus 4 equal to half plus 4. And then you can easily factor the left hand side by x plus 2 squared. And then on the right, 1/2 plus 4, you have to add fractions by using the common denominator, which is 2 in this case, and rewrite 4 by 8 over 2. So if you add the 1/2 by 8 over 2, you get 9 over 2. Then you just take the root on both sides. You get x plus 2 on the left, and a plus or minus square root of 9 over 2. Okay, so move 2 to the right, you get x equal to -2 plus or minus square root of 9 over 2. But you can, rewrite the square root of 9 over 2 as 3 square root 2 over 2. If you take the square root of 9, you get 3. So that's why you have 3 outside. And then you have square root of 2 in the denominator. You can rationalize it by multiplying square root 2 both on the top and at the bottom to make it 2 in the denominator. Then you got a square root 2 on the numerator. So at the end, we got two solutions: -2 plus or minus 3 square root 2 over 2. Okay. Well, the completing square method is a little complicated, but it works all the problems. But if we use the method of completing square for a general quadratic equation of x squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, then we're going to get the solution for this equation to be x equal to -b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And that's called the quadratic formula. You may have already known it before. So if you forget about everything, all the other methods, still use the quadratic formula to solve any quadratic equation. For example, if you want to solve the equation 2x squared plus 4x equal to 1, then you can use the quadratic formula. But the first step is always to put the equation in standard form. So just move 1 to the left, so it becomes minus. And then you got the 2x squared plus 4x minus 1 equals 0. And then you just plug in those numbers into the quadratic formula. So in this example, a will be 2, b will be 4, and c will be -1. So plug in those numbers. We got x equal to -4 plus minus 4 squared minus 4 times 2 times -1 over 2 times 2. Okay, if you look at the quadratic formula and plug in those numbers, that's what you get. And then you simplify the inside of the radical. 4 squared is 16. 4 times 2, 8, you get the minus -8, so that becomes +8. So 16 plus 8, that's 24. And then you can factor 24 in the square root by 4 and 6. And the square root of 4 is just 2, so you get 2 outside the radical times square root of 6. So then you got the -4 plus or minus 2 squared 6 over 4. That can be simplified further by dividing by 2 to each term. So you got -2 plus or minus square root of 6 over 2. Okay, that's how you cancel 2 in the fraction. So again, we got two solutions. All right. Okay, so that's the quadratic formula. Let's do another example. Okay, this time we need to solve the equation 4x squared minus 4x plus 3 equal to 0. So it's already standard form. So you just plug in numbers a, b, and c into the formula. A equal to 4, b equal to -4, and c equal to 3. So we got x equal to -4 plus minus square root of -4 squared minus 4 times 4 times 3 over 2 times 4. Okay, so if you do that, you get 4 in the first term on the top, and in the radical, -4 is 16. 4 times 4 times 3 is just 16 times 3, that's 48. So 16 minus 48, that's -32. In the denominator, you get 8. We got a negative number in the radical in the square root, so it becomes imaginary. So we got the 4 plus or minus I times square root of 32 over 8. And again, you can simplify the square root of 32 by factoring it into 16 times 2, and then the square root of 16 is just 4, so you get 4 outside. So then you get 4 plus minus I times 4 squared root 2 over 8. And again, simplified by dividing 4 in each term on the top and at the bottom. So we get 1 plus minus I times square root 2 over 2. And we usually write the I, the imaginary unit, on the back. So we got x equal to 1 plus 2I over 2, or x equal to 1 minus square root 2I over 2. Okay. So that's basically how we solve quadratic equation. We have two methods. Now let's talk about the discriminant of a quadratic equation. We just talk about the quadratic formula. If you look at the quadratic formula, we have the square root of b squared minus 4ac inside the square root. And we call this b squared minus 4ac in the square root, the discriminant of the equation, okay, of the quadratic equation. And so from the discriminant, the number inside the radical, we can tell whether the solution of the equation, all the solutions of the equation are real or complex. Like in this example, we got the complex solutions. In the previous example, we got the real solution because the number in the square root of the formula are different. Sometimes they are positive, sometimes they are negative. When the number you try to square root is positive, then you're going to get a real number. When you square root the negative number, then you're going to get a complex number. So that's why we need to use the discriminant. So let's just use delta to denote this discriminant. B squared minus 4ac, that's the prod inside the square root in the formula, as we said. So if this quantity delta is positive, then you take the square root to get the real numbers. So the quadratic equation has two distinct real solutions because you plus or minus in the quadratic formula. If this quantity delta is 0, then you plus or minus 0 in the quadratic formula. So you end up with just only one solution, or sometimes it's called a double real solution. Okay. So these are still solutions, the real solutions. In case the quantity of the discriminant data is less than 0, then you're trying to square root the negative number, and of course this time you get complex solutions. You get two distinct non-real complex solutions, because in the front of the square root you get plus or minus. So then sometimes you may be asked some questions whether a quadratic equation has real solutions or complex solutions, and then you really don't need to solve them completely. You just check the discriminant and see whether it's positive or negative or 0. So in this example, we need to determine the type of solutions for the equation x squared plus 3x minus 11 equal to 0. Do the real solutions or complex solutions? So let's compute the discriminant delta. So that's b squared minus 4ac. So a equal to 1. Okay, the coefficient of x squared. B equal to 3 and c equal to negative 11. If we plug in those numbers to the discriminant, you get a 3 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 11, and at the end, if you compute those numbers, you get 53. So that's positive. So we know this equation has two distinct real solutions because you're trying to take this discriminant in the solution. All right. Let's do two more examples. So determine the type of solutions for the equation x squared plus 3x plus 3 equal to 0. Again, it's not asking you the solution to the equation, but what kind of solutions they are. So just use this discriminant delta equals b squared minus 4ac, and again a equal to 1, b equal to 3, and c equal to 3. So plug in to the discriminant b squared minus 4ac, you're gonna get the negative 3, so that's negative. So you're gonna get two complex, non-real complex solutions to distinct. Because you're trying to take the square root of this negative number in the solution, right? Okay. In the next example, we need to determine the type of solutions for the equation 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. You do the same thing. Compute the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. So that's 12 squared minus 4 times 4 times 9, and at the end you get 0. So this equation has a one real solution or a double real solution. I don't know why I got some mess up in here. Because you take a root of 0, get 0, and so that ends up just the one solution if you look at the quadratic formula. Okay. So let's talk about the applications of quadratic equations. Everybody knows the Pythagorean theorem. So it says in the right triangle, the sum of the squares of two legs is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. All right. So in this example, the TV screen measures 60 inches diagonally. Okay. And the aspect ratio of the width to the height is 16 to 9. So the width over height is 16 over 9. So we need to find the width and the height of the TV. So you can do this problem in a different ways. But an easy way to do it is just assume the width of the TV screen be 16x and the height to be 9x. So when you divide them, you get 16 over 9 if you cancel the x. So that's what is given in the problem. The aspect ratio is 16 over 9. Okay, and then you use the Pythagorean theorem because a TV screen, if you cut it by diagonally, you get the right triangle, and the two legs are the width and the height. So you get 16x squared plus 9x squared equal to 60 squared. That's the diagonal, right? So square on both sides, you get 256x squared plus 81x squared. And on the right, you got 3600. So combine left, you get 337x squared equal to 36,000 and divide by 337, and then take the root. And so at the end, you got square root of 3600 over 337, and that's about 3.268 inches. That's just x. It's not the width or height. Remember, the width is 10 times x and the height is 9 times x. So you still need to times 16 to x to get the width. So if you multiply 16 by this 3.268, you got 52.3 inches. That's the width of a TV, and the height of the TV is just 9 times x, 9 times 3.268, you got 29.4 inches. So that's the height of the TV. Okay, let's do a problem. So this motion, physics, all right, or mechanics. A ball is thrown upward with an initial velocity of 52 feet per second from a height of 4.5 feet. How long will it take for the ball to hit the ground? Round the answer to the nearest tenth of a second. Okay, so from the law of physics, we can write the distance s in feet of the ball above the ground after t seconds. Is given by the position function s equal to negative 16 t squared plus 52t plus 4.5. Okay, if you use the physics law, you can rewrite the position function of the ball from start when you throw it as a function of time, like this. So when the ball hits the ground equal to 0, okay, remember the s is the height of the ball from the ground. So then we end up with saying solving the equation of negative 16t squared plus 2t plus 4.5, and you just use the quadratic equation, So we got negative 52 plus or minus square root of 52 squared minus 4 times negative 16 times 5 over 2 times negative 16 in the denominator. So you just figure out the number inside the radical. You got 2,992, and then use your computer. You can easily figure out this number to be 3.3 seconds. And you have to pick out the plus sign, by the way, in this solution set. You got two solutions, but if you pick up a negative sign, then you got the negative time. That doesn't make sense. It's not physical. So you have to pick up the positive sign. So that's the answer, 3.3 seconds. So this is the end of the section, and I'm going to take the roll now, and then you can leave. I'm sorry. Let me just take a picture, okay? 1 second. It'll be real quick. Yes, I got the roll now. You can leave. Any questions? So I'm going to put the slides in the content folder in Blackboard as always, since we finished this section. And once the video is uploaded, I'm going to inform you, and you can wait and download it. So let me just stop the recording now.